Okay, so let's do a part 2 real quick. If you haven't watched my first video, of course go do that. The main thing you need to take away from that, if you haven't, is that some of these things I have already shown, and some of the things I'm going to show now, use SWS extensions. Speaking of that, this first one I will show you uses it. So here are my Reaper hotkeys. The most recent one I added was inserts. What that does is show what I have inserted on the selected track. I use this quite a lot because normally I would use the mouse. I don't know why it took me so long to stop, but now I don't have to. And that comes in handy not only to see what's on tracks, but if I have audio recorded, I can basically have an instant zoom in, make the track bigger for editing purposes and other things. Additionally, you can do this, show FX parameters in panel, and so now I can have a parameter showing, but I can also have the envelope, and I use those features quite a bit. So doing this expands them. The reason you need SWS extensions is as follows. You actually go into actions first because you want to set this particular action as this: toggle selected tracks height A and B. Once you have that set up, then you can go to the extensions and go to command parameters. So what you're going to look at is track height A, track height B. So you'll have to experiment to see what these numbers actually do. So you just put in numbers and then toggle the button, obviously, to get what you're looking for. So this is my track height A. That's my track height B. Very handy to have. Something that goes along with it is, say I have multiple tracks like that. Maybe I've zoomed, maybe I've just edited a bunch of stuff, and I want to get every track back to its minimum. I, of course, have minimize all. And that is a standard action. View, minimize all tracks. I actually use minimize all tracks frequently as well. This is just a template project. So a completed song will have a lot more tracks. And so for organizing and moving things around, etc., it's nice to have minimize all to get it back to this view. Another thing I have on here is this reset button. Something I do a lot is I will open up a project, but I won't have my digital piano on. And somewhere along the lines of messing around with things, I think, oh no, I actually need my digital piano on. Of course, naturally, you would need to go to Options, Preferences, MIDI Devices, Reset MIDI Devices. Well, of course, you can just hit this button and it instantly gets my piano back going. And that is, once again, a very standard action: reset all MIDI devices. Don't know how often people would use that, but it's just something I have added, so I included it in this video. Something else I do frequently is if I've recorded a guitar part and I need to add another guitar track, such as double tracking a lead part. Sometimes I have two guitar buses, one for high gain, one for clean stuff. And you might be saying, well, why don't you just have your template with multiple guitar tracks? I never really know what I'm going to do. I just have one. That way it's there for when I get started. So instead of duplicating a track and deleting the audio I had recorded, now all I have to do is have it my guitar bus selected, and I hit this guitar icon, and it puts in a template. My first video shows how to use SWS extensions to insert a track as a template, so go check that if you are wondering how to do it. But the reason I have it like this, it's record armed, so all you have to do is hit that button, and it's ready to record. I have it muted because I use the Fractal FM3, and there's probably some things I can go into. I've just never actually looked into it. But there is some latency when you are performing, and I don't want to hear myself back in like an echo, so I have it muted. That way I can just hear what I'm playing in real time. So that's why I have it loaded like this. I'll probably actually eventually look into getting rid of that, but for now, this works for me. So those are the new things I've added to this page. If we go back, these aren't necessarily Reaper specific, but it could help you, and so I'll show you. My first video shows how this button goes between my Windows settings of my monitors to my headphones. However, my headphones actually use a stack of a headphone app and a DAC, and unfortunately they are not ASIO supportive. If I had known that, I probably wouldn't have gotten them. However, it is what it is. So typically I will need to click my top right device settings, and I have to go from ASIO to direct sound. So even though it's not the absolute perfect thing, it is helpful to be able to hit this to switch to my headphones, and then hit this, which opens the settings. So it still cuts down on what I have to do, and of course that is also a very standard setting, which is just audio device configuration. One last thing that I have added, which I've been using ever since I put it in, and it's very helpful, is this power button. It is in the store, and you can see it changes my settings. So if you go to the Stream Deck store, you can find it in there. It is under, if I go back, for example, it is under Crab's Stream Deck Labs Windows Shutdown menu. So just search for that, and when you hit it, it brings this up. So you can sign out, sleep, lock your screen, restart your computer. If you want to get out, you can cancel, and then of course confirm to actually shut down your computer. So that's really nice to have. One little note though is when you download this, it actually creates it as a profile automatically in Stream Deck. So if you were to cancel it, this screen is normally blank. And so you're sitting there going, well, how do I get back to my screen? And instead of just bringing up the Stream Deck software here, I used Switch Profile and dropped it in. And then you just select your profile. I just put this home icon on it, and so when you hit the home icon, it's back to normal. So those are some things I've added. I'm sure I will continue to mess with stuff and add more, and if I get enough cool stuff, I will make a part 3 for this. So let's leave it there. Once again, let me know if you have any questions.